Welcome to the Ywam Tyler audio podcast. We are very happy that you tuned in, and we hope that this episode will benefit you in your walk with God. Every episode of this podcast will be different with teachings, devotionals, or interviews. It is our heart to spread the message of missions and to see others inspired to partner with God. Here in the heart of East Texas, at one of Ywam's largest training centers, thousands of young people have developed a personal and intimate relationship with the God of the Bible. There is really nothing like hearing the voice of God for yourself and experiencing the adventure of partnering with Jesus. Our staff from all over the planet are here to help you develop a meaningful walk with God and to launch you into a life of Christian ministry. To find out more about Ywam Tyler and its great missions opportunities, go to www.ywamtyler.org. But now, let's tune in to today's episode.
In 1998, Ywam Tyler sent forth a young team of missionaries to Houston, Texas, to pioneer Youth with a Mission in that great city. We've watched God be very faithful to us as a team over all of these years. God called us with a two-pronged call. Number one, Luke chapter 10 and verse 2 says to pray to the Lord of the harvest, to send forth laborers into his harvest field. Why? Because the laborers are few and the harvest is plentiful. God has called all of us to be laborers in the harvest field. A missionary isn't necessarily one that crosses the sea, but it's one who sees the cross and shares that faith. So whether we're speaking in a church or in a youth group or wherever it might be, we are always challenging the local church to be involved in mission endeavors wherever you are in life. Part of our call, too, is to mobilize teams into our great city. Houston being a port city, we believe we're to import short-term mission teams in Houston. 27 teams in 2012 with over 800 short-term workers on them, plugging them into numerous opportunities, letting them share the love of Jesus in the projects or on the streets or at our street church environment, allowing them to do painting projects or do prayer walks with us, mobilizing them in their faith. We've also mobilized 20 to 25 churches into the mix at Montrose Street Reach in our call to rescue those being led away to death. We thank God for the short-term workers and the local churches that come to our city and serve in such relevant ways.
The second ministry focus of Ywam Houston comes from Proverbs 24:11 that says, "Rescue those being led away to death, hold back those staggering toward slaughter." We as a ministry seek to carry this out in a number of ways. One of those ways is through a partnership that's called Montrose Street Reach. This outreach reaches out to pimps, prostitutes, gangsters, older homeless, drag queens, dealers, etc. And over the last 12 years, we've had the privilege of assisting over 350 off the streets of Houston. This outreach continues to minister out of the Montrose area of our city. Another way that we seek to carry out this call to rescue is through an outreach that we call Little Footprints, which is a ministry to the street babies, jail babies, and at-risk children of Houston. For a number of years, we offered foster care services and adoptive services through Ywam Tyler's Loving Alternative Adoption Agency. But recently, we've had the privilege, by the grace of God, to open our own adoption agency, and we call that Loving Houston Adoption Agency. We are excited about the children that have already been rescued, but we're also very excited to hopefully expand and be able to assist many more little ones. One of the other areas that we reach out in the whole area of rescue is human trafficking. We somewhat partner with another ministry here locally. They're called Redeemed Ministries, and they have asked us if our licensed families could be of assistance should any of the rescued girls from the human trafficking area, should any of them be pregnant or have need of care for their children, should they need assistance, would we be able to help? And of course, we said yes to that invitation. We also bring awareness to our outreach teams that come into the city, and we take some of those teams and do on-location prayer at some of the brothels or massage parlors that have been identified by the police as locations that are holding victims against their will. We long and pray for Houston to no longer be known as the Club Mecca of the United States, but instead to be known as a city for healing and life.
Future projects coming up for YWAM Houston. We'll be hosting YWAM Tyler's Urban Discipleship Training School this fall, 2013. Very excited for new students and staff to be coming to our city and spending their 3-month lecture phase with us. And in the spring of 2014, YWAM Houston will be hosting the North American Cities Conference. We're very excited about bringing other YWAM ministry centers into our great city and hosting them for that conference. We're also expanding our involvement in the human trafficking arena. We ask for your prayers in that regard. And our prayer request really is just an increase of laborers and staff to come to the harvest fields of Houston. We need wisdom and expansion of ministry, including how we're to be more intimately involved in stopping human trafficking in Houston. The release of funds for our own YWAM Houston Ministry Center. We lease facilities now. We'd love to have our own. We're believing God for an open heaven over our great city, praying for revival to come to Houston. And if you're interested in bringing a short-term mission team to our great city, please visit us on our website, www.ywamhouston.org.